Okay, I'm just gonna briefly reflect on some of my reactions after watching the video of myself teach this particular lesson. Um, I was really interested in watching this video because this is a lesson that I'm going to be teaching to my seventh graders in the near future. So I wanted to see the different elements that I thought I could work on in the lesson. The first thing I noticed that came to my attention while watching the video was in the beginning, I seemed to kind of be moving really quickly and talking fast and not necessarily taking the time to go through the objectives and the guiding question, and then even in that aspect, going through the just do it. So towards the middle of the lesson, I think I got more in a groove and slowed down. I don't think this is necessarily as much of a problem that I face in the middle school, but I think it's something that I need to be aware of, making sure that I do slow down and make sure that I emphasize the important elements of what's going on in the classroom, especially making sure that the students know what the objectives are for the day. I also noticed, as I'm going to talk about this more in the tuning protocol, but that there really was not an introduction at all to the Dr. Seuss book. Instead, it was more of I was just like, okay, I don't really know what to do now, so I'm going to start reading the book, which when side teaching in the classroom, I think definitely needs to change. And later on in this blog post, I'm going to talk about the different suggestions that some of my cohort members said to do for an introduction, and they were all really good. I also did notice that some of the terms I kind of just flighted over, and I feel like I could have gone into more detail about those. So those were just some of my initial reactions to the lesson. Looking at the video analysis sheet, there were also some things that helped me become aware of looking at that. First of all, I was happy with the classroom involvement. I think it took the students a little while to get into the groove of things, but I think I had a good wait time and waited for them to raise their hand because I wasn't going to move on until someone answered the question. I also think the students were engaged in the lesson. I know they're my cohort members, so they weren't talking or anything while I was reading the book, and then they seemed to be actively participating in writing things down and then participating in class discussion. So I also thought that was good. I liked that I constantly was asking the students whether or not they understood things and if they had any questions, even though none of the students did, and that's probably because we are graduate students and they are my cohort members. So I hope if I continue to do the same thing in my classroom at Willow Middle School, that students will have, if the students do have any questions, they will feel comfortable asking them. Watching the video of myself teaching, I also realized that I did really like the structure of the lesson because I liked how the students had to, it was almost like set up as a think, pair, share. They had to individually come up with the parallels, and then they had to group at their table and then talk about the parallels, and then as a class we discussed the parallels. And I think that was a good way to not only create a classroom environment where the students could take risks because they weren't coming up with the information by themselves, but they also were talking about it at a table. And then I also stated that when the students had to define what the term was, that anyone in the class could help them. So it wasn't just them up the board standing there. So I liked that. And I also think the structure helped the students process the information more, which is always good. Thinking about the instructional opportunities that I took advantage of and the ones that I did not take advantage of, in particular the ones that I did not take advantage of, was having the students explain the graph during the Just Do It. And again, this is something that I'm going to talk about during the tuning protocol because it was something that my cohort members mentioned. And I think it would have been good when I asked the students to answer the questions that I also had them be like, well, how do you know? Can you tell me what you see on the graph that clarifies that? Because I think that would be graph reading skills is something that the students need to know. And that way, if any students were unclear on what the answer was, then that would explain why it was. overall, I was happy with the way the lesson went, and um, and my initial reactions to teaching the lesson were mainly positive, and my initial reactions after watching the video were again mainly positive. Again, I did see those little things that I have to work on. Definitely, and just watching it on video clearly showed me those things, such as going over the Just Do It, slowing down, and introducing the Dr. Seuss book.